Everyone already knew things were going to go downhill, just right after the bun incident, especially Clockwork Klaus. One so sophisticated, so composed nobody could break him, one so collected nobody could make him lose his cool. Klaus had always had cool, and nobody dismissed this. Nobody ever thought a crazy Klaus could ever exist. Nobody. Or so they thought. Hey, Felix, said a chip of voice just behind him. Felix's fins lifted. His blue irises looked behind him. Felix's head was softly turned. Oh, barely, actually.
Andy, hey, man.
He muttered. Andy's attempt at a cheery smile faded instantly, his head tilting. He was fishing like he always did, like he used to. Andy felt something. When he looked at the full-grown reptile before him and compared it to the small, mischievous, brutal little fish he once was, why did he feel good? Why did he feel like a proud father, having helped his son achieve his somewhat goal and happily knowing he achieved said goal? Before Andy turned to what Klaus looked like when he was a sobbing mess, he strolled over, sitting next to what he liked to think was his son. Oh, right. Klaus. He looked at Felix as he was turning away. Still kicking the fishies, I see? Andy jokingly said. Felix replied in the mumble, fins flat. Andy made a small pout, immediately changing his pointer finger, started his fin, stroking for a second, then beckoned to Felix's chin, making him look at Andy. Andy was smiling tenderly, eyes showing more sparkles than Klaus's suit ever did. Oh, right. Klaus. Something brimmed in Felix's eyes as he looked down at Andy's hand, then back up at him. Something tugged on his rod. Felix wiped one eye, uttering a hang on. Felix pulled. It slashed out the slightly murky surface. Felix's look of surprise at the size of it beaming. Andy clapped softly. Yay, that's one big mama. Or daddy. You know, I think it's one of your best catches, actually. As Felix made to put it on the bucket, it said Mama, squirming and gasping. Andy explained. There's something I heard about luck. It's the great big gods up there sending you down and out, in return, giving you a good present. Andy was met with a snort. I never knew you were religious. Felix joked. Andy laughed back and replied, but it's just something to think about, you know? Felix went to put the rod back in the water. His slight smile faded, thinking. His eyes started to squint. As Andy was distracted, Felix mumbled, Hey, Andy? Andy spoke, still looking at the opposite direction. Yeah? Andy finally looked at him when he asked, How do you do it? Felix's eyes were watering again, but this time his chin was wrinkled slightly. Andy was alert, preparing himself, it seemed. Wait, what? Andy's voice was slightly tender. Felix ran a claw through his fins. His words began to struggle. Like, how do you... Felix's chest movements grew more irregular. Felix finally broke after a while. The back of his claw wiped shakily at his face. Oh, he cursed. He actually cursed. Which to Andy wasn't really a big deal. He was just caught off guard, that was all. Andy gradually went to Felix's side and asked, Do you miss him? Felix made a nod, still shakily wiping himself. Andy just couldn't sit there. He muttered, Come here. After a minute, Felix packed up. I do. I really do. But I shouldn't. But I miss him nonetheless. And he sat silently until... Why shouldn't you? Felix's body tensed in anger.
For fuck's sake, Andy. You're just a stuck-up jerkwad to all of us, especially you. You, of all people. I would have expected to be more nice here to you. The only one who keeps us freaking alive, but it just...
Felix gave a frustrated...
Why? Andy, why am I miss people I hate?
Andy stroked up on Felix's back. Andy thought, and finally spoke. Well, at least you're not alone. Felix pulled away, the stench of overwork everlasting.
What the fuck are you talking about?
After a while, put a pointer finger on his friend's chest. You were not the first. Felix exchanged looks to Andy's face and to his hand. Say it to yourself, out loud. Andy was direct, but kind. Felix sighed, averting his eyes.
I was not the first.